Hi, I'm Roger Whittier. I'm the dean of the college that deals with all this mechanical stuff for COPA University. We're here to talk about ignition harnesses today. Ignition harnesses are a critical component of our ignition system. We've already talked in different videos about things like magnetos and spark plugs. However, we have to get the power from the magneto to the spark plug, and the ignition harness carries that duty. It works hard for a living. Let's look at some of the parts of that ignition harness. This is an ignition harness off a typical Cirrus SR20, whether it's a normally aspirated, turbocharged, or turbo-normalized. They tend to look like this. This is a Bendix King harness and attaches to the magneto through these 4 holes. If you're turbocharged, you're going to have a pressurization gasket around it. And in general, we plug these silicon nipples into some holes in the distributor cap of the magneto. When it is installed correctly, and you can see this is one that I've removed, it's going to go separate directions. Some have to go to one side of the engine and some to the other side of the engine. Some go to the top plugs, some go to the bottom plugs. And they tend to take a set where they are, and they have to run a rather circuitous route through the engine, underneath ignition induction tubes, and through baffle plates to get to their final destination. That destination is going to be capped by something that looks like this. Now I've got these protective caps on here for transport, but at the other end we have a threaded cap, and this threaded cap looks like this, and it has another silicon boot followed by a spring. This is going to go into the spark plug, and we're going to tighten this onto the spark plug to hold it in place. That spark plug connection looks like this. This is a typical spark plug for an aviation engine, and this is going to go in here, and we're going to tighten this like that. We don't use spark plugs like you use in an automobile. Part of the reason is we have a very difficult environment to operate in, high speed, we have it very hot, and we have the possibility of rain ingestion through when you're flying in rain. We also have very cold temperatures, so as a result, we screw this on and we torque it to about 8 foot-pounds to make sure that it does not come off. In the process of doing its job, it's going to possibly arc, and if you do, when you pull this spark plug out for inspection, this should be a shiny, almost a stainless steel kind of look, and it may become very blackened. And if it's blackened, as you're seeing some arcing that may be going on down in there in the connection into the spark plug. We also may see corrosion if some moisture has gotten in here, given that it's hot and moisture, you can see corrosion on these wires. Anything like carbon, which tends to be an insulator, or corrosion, which also tends to insulate, is going to affect the performance of this connection. And it's one of the things that we have to inspect for when we are doing our annual inspection or verifying spark plug integrity. One of the problems that can occur with these is because they're on a vibrating engine and they're running through things, is you can get chafing. It may be up against something and it's chafing. And this particular harness I removed from service from a SR20 TN because it had this particular damage on it right here. If you look at this closely and zoom in, what you can see is that the outer insulation level has been breached and has gone through into the braided protective layer that's inside of it, and it is now touching something inside the engine, providing a path for current that should go from here to the spark plug. Has now got an outlet. Electricity is always going to follow the path of least resistance, and when it does, it finds an easy way out. It's going to jump over there. What you're going to see as a pilot is probably one of two things, probably both. The first thing you're going to see is when you do your mag check, you're going to find one of your cylinders does not operate properly. So we normally go from both to left, and we will look for all of our EGTs to rise roughly an equal amount and the engine to remain smooth. In this particular case, some cylinder is probably going to have its EGT drop rather than rise, and is probably not going to run smooth. You're probably also going to see a greater reduction in RPM. Normally the spec is we want to see something less than 150 RPM difference in the POH. I like to see less than 75. If this is going on and you've lost a cylinder, you're probably going to see 150, 200 RPM drop. When both magnetos are operating, one of the plugs is still going to fire, but in flight, you're probably going to notice that the EGT on that cylinder has risen a little bit, and it may not be quite as smooth as it used to be. The reason for that is one of the plugs is firing, the other plug is not firing. And that plug that is not firing can't contribute to power output, and you have a less efficient burn in the cylinder, and you have some additional fuel that's going to burn in the tailpipes on the way out. That's going to raise things like EGT and TIT temperatures an observable amount. So if you're paying attention to the baselines for your engine, you should be able to notice this in one of two ways: your run-up problems or an elevated temperature in operation. I brought a different style of magneto ignition cap, and this is the one that is used on slick magnetos, and it's called a champion or slick magneto cap. We'll see this in a Cirrus fleet in one of two places. A lot of the early Cirrus's SR20s had slick magnetos, and they would have this cap. If you have a Surefly conversion, it will also have this cap because they used a slick or champion style magneto cap, and they don't use that one. So when we install a Surefly, we have to replace one of the ignition harnesses, and this is why, because the adapter, as you can see, is quite different to the magneto versus the Bendix King one. This was in service for about 300 or 400 hours, and the pilot noticed that he was having some unusual temperatures, much like I described a moment ago. The run-up is not proper, and had some elevated EGTs on one cylinder. In this case, it was cylinder number 4. When you look at this cap, this gives a really good illustration how the cap is fabricated. The other cap is like this. It looks a little different in that the silicon boot is shaped differently, but they all have to work the same way. They have a spring or a contact point that has to touch inside the magneto. They have an insulator that sits in there. And then they have, if you look underneath this, you're going to see that it has a wire that has to make it through the hole so it can get to the outside world. And this is an insulated surface that you've got here. So this particular magneto had some issues in its operation that caused it to do some weird things. And if you notice, this magneto cap has a trademark of an arc that's occurring. See this black spot that's in this area. So the magneto is going to fire, or the Surefly is going to fire here, and it's never going to get the wire, the spark, out to the end where we want it, because the path of least resistance is going to be to this ground through this insulation. And so the arc, it's going to fire here, it's going to arc here, and you're going to have no spark left at the spark plug. That's going to cause you some serious difficulties when you're flying the airplane. And you should notice it again in the same way. You notice these other ones don't have that same problem. So it only took one of these insulators to break down to cause a problem. And again, noticeable if you're paying attention. And it's sort of subtle. But when you see problems at mag run-up, or you see EGT differences confined to a cylinder, you're going to want to go to your mechanic, and you're going to want to describe the problems that you're seeing, why you're seeing them, and ask him to do some inspections on probably the mag harness to figure out what the problem is. It could be a spark plug, always could be a spark plug, but it also could be a harness. Thanks for watching. I hope that helped. I'm Roger Whittier. I hope to see you on the forums or hopefully at a CPPP or migration somewhere.